Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. After an exhausting week, I can honestly say, for the first time, I walked in the office today somewhat awake. It has been an exhausting 2 weeks, an exhausting period here of tariff and its effect on the markets and all. Today we had in a set of political guests. Thank you for the fierce comments on the political guests, those for and against. It's always good to see that. And of course, we looked at economics, finance, investment. But the heart of this, the deepest market, is the bond market. Amanda Lynam is expert on this at BlackRock. She can look out to 10 years, the belly of the curve, 5 to 7 years. Here, Amanda Lynam of BlackRock, and on the trust market, the repo market.
The short-term funding repo markets are definitely important in times like this. We're staying in very close contact. They are. I would say liquidity is a bit challenged, but they're for sure open and functioning. For corporate credit investors, actually, the new issue debt capital markets has been a really important barometer of confidence. During late 2018, during the pandemic, even during periods of the commodity disruption, the freezing of those capital markets during those periods of time did catch the Fed's attention. We know that. Right now, they're open and functioning, just at a higher cost. We're watching that very closely. The other thing at a more macro level is this feedback loop, this really important feedback loop, we would argue, between corporate margins, the layoff rate, which is still low, consumer spending, and overall economic activity. If pressures on margins are enough for corporates to flex that layoff tool more aggressively, we think that could really cause some concern in the broader economic backdrop. Amanda Lynam of BlackRock, just a pro tip here. In other crises, we've always had LIBOR, OIS, a comparison of the benchmark 3-month LIBOR to the OIS indicator. And that is sort of things, it's gone aside, if you will. And in the short-term market, what I look at on the Bloomberg is the SOFR 10-year. Damian Sassauer, who's better than me, looks at the SOFR 2-year SOFR, and then 10-year SOFR, and then 2-year. And those thermometers, as Amanda Lynam said, have calmed down in the last number of days. Anastasia Amoroso is with ICAP. She's mixed on the market. Boy, was she a successful bull here for years. A very tentative view on the market here. Anastasia Amoroso on the Mag 7.
The first place I would step into would not be the Mag 7 stocks. And semiconductors, for example, will likely be challenged if you have this cyclical slowdown in the global economy. They just get caught up in export controls and the overall slowdown. So I don't necessarily think that that part of it right now is the first place to be. They're not immune from U.S. economic slowdown either. But I do think that, as I mentioned before, you want to align yourself with the direction of policy right now. And the direction of policy is focus on domestic companies who are sourcing their cost of goods sold here in the United States, and they're mostly selling to the U.S. consumers. So that's why sectors like utilities and real estate and consumer staples, for example, have outperformed. And by the way, also financials have held up as well. So that's why I would focus there right now. But I will say, Tom, that, if this administration succeeds longer term, and if this results in deals that brings production to the United States, if this results in a new world order where actually tariffs and non-tariff barriers do drop, then maybe we do have this onshoring investment boom. And so you have to allow for the possibility, especially given the tax policy in the U.S., which is so favorable.
Anastasia Amoroso with ICAP, thank you so much for being with us today. On your commute across the nation, particularly on Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, those are booming new digital platforms for us. Good morning, 99.1 FM in Washington, 92.9 FM in Boston, and of course our flagship, Bloomberg 1130. Out on our podcasts, go to YouTube, subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts. It's the best way to get all of our material. And on YouTube podcasts, this is Single Best Idea.